Hi everyone, how are ya? So this is my friend Felice, and she's the one that I had told you that we are going to do the reading for today. I, up until a little bit ago, hadn't seen her in, what, like 20 years?
Yeah.
It had been a while. So she has graciously agreed to let me do a reading for her on camera. Since most of you have only ever seen me read for Rich, I thought that a lot of you would like to see me read for somebody else, especially somebody I haven't seen up until recently. So we chatted a little bit online here and there, but it's been great to visit with you.
Yes, it's been awesome.
I really have enjoyed catching up with you. So I kind of explained the process to you earlier. I'm going to go ahead and walk these guys through it. What the process is when I read for somebody face to face, I have them shuffle the cards as many times as they feel necessary. And then when they're done, they'll cut the cards 3 times from left to right. So go ahead.
So do I lay them down?
Shuffle them however you feel.
I cannot shuffle, so I'm just going
You know what?
to
It's okay.
do this my way, which is unique.
And that's okay. There's no right or wrong way.
Yeah, not everyone is like a Vegas dealer, so. How many times did you say?
So we'll grab that one because it jumped. As many times as you feel. There's no set number. There's no right or wrong.
And so anything that flips out, you hold on to? Is that how it works?
Yep. If it's 1 or 2, then yeah, we'll hold them because they're usually pertinent to whatever situation you're focusing on or question. To protect the privacy of like your kids, I'll refer to them by first initial because this one is going to be posted publicly. And then, so go ahead.
And then cut them
3 times. Okay. Again. So she hasn't told me what she wants her spread done on. I mean, I know what you had mentioned before, but that could have changed. So we'll look at this one in a moment. In fact, this one is our overall energy for the reading, which is the Elder of Swords. You're cutting ties. And actually, okay. I was going to do it how I usually would do it online, but we're going to do a traditional layout, which is a Celtic cross. So, just to give you the meanings and the positions of the cards, and you may have some random ones that come out, we'll see. This card right here, the first card I laid down, it represents you, okay? The card that I laid down across it is a card that crosses you, or this is kind of what you're up against. This is your distant past foundation. This is a ways back, okay? It's past 6 months. This is kind of your current situation, about 6 months, go to about that in the future. This one is a little bit further out. This is the final outcome according to the cards in the situation that you asked about. This one is, again, you, environments, hopes or fears, and the final outcome according to the question or situation you asked about, the surrounding cards. Okay? So we'll flip these after we've read the others. So, 10 of Chalices. You may not feel like it right now, as evidenced by kind of the overall energy, but you're actually in a good place. The 10 of Cups is kind of the culmination of everything. So a lot of what you have been putting out there, you're now reaping the effects of. Okay? So right now, while I can clearly see by the Elder of Swords that you're going through some tough times, you've got a lot on your plate, got a lot that you're thinking about. The stuff that you've been putting energy into is now starting to come back to you. Okay, remember, life is a cycle. What you put out will eventually come back to you. Okay? So, the Elder of Chalices is you kind of goes along with this Elder of Swords right here, which tells me you're really struggling hard with your relationships. And it's not just with your kiddos. You are very much having some issues. I know we've kind of discussed work, and that actually is not coming into play just yet. However, this is more relationships on a personal level. And you hadn't mentioned this before, but you feel betrayed by a number of different people. I mean, it's not, I could understand like the work situation and whatnot, but there have been people who you, and we kind of touched on this a little bit ago, but you didn't even really say in so many words. It's like the people that you thought were closest to you have turned their backs on you. And people, you're learning who your friends are, which is a lot of this. This is also figuring it out. This is a 5 of chalices for those of you who are watching. You've got the stuff you're focusing on, which is all of that energy and all of that emotion and all of those broken relationships. And you've got somebody behind you saying, you need to be paying attention back here. You need to be watching what's going on, because there's more to the story. There's more things in which you're aware of. There is more. It's like the people, just as you're starting to have people moving out of your circle, there are people moving into your circle. Just as you like are kind of at a loss with things on a financial level and you're wondering which way to turn, brace, because it's about to come into fruition. You're about to get some stuff that's going to start coming into play that will very much benefit you. A lot of it is a patience game. Right now, you're not feeling so patient. And actually, we hadn't even talked about that at all. You're really kind of like, let's hurry up and wait. You remind me of like a race car driver sitting there and you're just kind of revving your engine, ready to shoot off the starting line, and you can't. It's like you're going and you realize your tank is empty. Is that kind of right?
Well, my tank is full. I'm not sure of the destination yet.
Okay, that's fair. But the patience isn't there. I will tell you, this back here will help.
What is that called?
This is the 5 of chalices, so it'd be like the 5 of cups.
It's interesting how the 3 are spilled out, and then there's someone standing behind me like, hey girl, I've got a couple cups here.
Yeah,
They're
pay
full.
attention.
You're looking down at what's gone, and I'm right here, right behind you.
Mm-hmm. So,
that's crazy.
This is that relationship you walked away from. This is a lot of situations where you've kind of sucked it up and been tough. Dug your heels in the sand, you've gotten tough, you've gotten stubborn, and said, I'm not willing to settle anymore. Okay, and you've been wondering, did I follow, is my gut right? You've been second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, absolutely, stop it.
Yeah,
Because
I almost like prayed for a divine intervention because it did not feel right. It's like the chemistry and everything, but I feel like, yeah. So what's this one?
So this is a magician, which is it's the number 1 card as far as major arcana goes. But this says you have a lot of help. This is also you reclaiming your own power. So you've been giving away a lot of your own power for a long time. You've been handing it off right and left to people who don't necessarily deserve it. And now you're starting to stand on your own feet and take that back. And you're starting to be that strong and independent woman that we all know you are. That you've always projected yourself as being. But now you're starting to feel it. You're starting to stand your ground and say, no, I'm not willing to settle. And I'm not going to take the crap anymore. So this is absolutely indicative of the fact that you are on the right path. This is a magician, for those of you who are wondering. And with that being said, I mean, you've got a lot of worries. You've got a lot of worries about money. You've got a lot of worries about relationships and everything else. And this is telling you you're on the right path. This, follow through that situation with work. Just know that it's not going to be an easy ride. There will be a fight.
What card is that?
This is the Seven of Pentacles. I was getting there, but thank you.
Oh, sorry.
This is
Beautiful.
telling me that, and this is a little bit further out, so you're just starting to travel that road with the past employer that you have recently walked away from, and so it's not going to be an easy ride. This tells me eventually you'll get where you need to be with it, but it's not going to be an easy ride getting there.
What does Seven of Pentacles mean exactly, though?
So, I don't read by the book. I can hand you the book, you can look up the typical meaning of it, but generally speaking, in your situation, the way it's pertaining to all of the other cards, this is telling me that, as I said, it's not going to be easy. You're going to struggle a little bit financially. I don't think it's going to be as bad as what you're anticipating, and as bad as what you're worrying about. But there will be a little bit of a struggle. I would start putting some feelers out there if you haven't already, as far as work goes. Kind of network a little bit, because putting your feelers out there now will start to reap its benefit for you later. You've got some really good indicative cards of that. However, let's see. Aha! Okay, so this is you on the other part of the cross. This is the Two of Swords upright. And kind of feel like you're fighting blind.
For sure.
And that is further supported by the other cards, but in looking at this, you're ready, you are absolutely geared up and ready to go to battle, and yet you're not sure who you're fighting. You're not sure who's in your corner, and you're not sure exactly which direction to turn and who you need to take out and who you can trust. And especially on the situation that this is talking about, because you don't know who's doing this behind your back. And that's a big stress to you. That's something you haven't talked to me, is how much you stress out about how much people are running their mouths and have your name coming out of their mouth. But I think you'll be okay. This is your environments. Six of Wands, upright. You're surrounded by a lot of people who love you. And while you are absolutely kind of getting rid of those who aren't in your corner, kind of thinning them out, kind of thinning out relationships, friendships, realizing who you need to keep close to you in your inner circle and who you need to kind of keep back there. And you're doing a damn good job of it, looking at it. We're going to do another spread. I can tell you that right now. Because right now what we're getting is just kind of a general overall, okay, hopes or fears. This is the Four of Swords. Again,
Laying in bed with the big old sword.
you're not sure who's got your back. You're not sure who you can trust. You really struggle with, that's a big thing for you, is trust.
Yeah.
You've been betrayed a lot, especially recently, haven't you?
Yeah.
Had a lot of people who you thought you could trust, who you thought were in your corner, that if you've learned the hard way weren't.
Absolutely.
Which I'm sorry for you, because it's a very, very hard situation to get through. Okay. High Priestess reversed. Final outcome. According to the situation that you asked about, which this was really just a general reading, and a lot of it I think was just nerves. You weren't quite sure what to focus on, and so you just kind of shuffled.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely okay. And it comes out as a general reading. In this particular situation, the High Priestess reversed tells me that you're, and I kind of had already figured this out, you're struggling with second guessing yourself. You need to learn to listen to your gut. Listen to your intuition. So those times when you just got this sneaking suspicion and you're like, no, I can't be right. Listen to it. Not the I can't be right part, the you know. Because you do know. Absolutely. And the parts when you're looking for somebody to tell you what to do, you know. What you're looking for is a validation. Okay? So you need to understand you've got a lot of support. A lot of support that is hiding behind the scenes. I don't even think you're aware of it all yet. But you need to know that your gut is screaming at you for a reason. So, like with work or with your kiddos or with your friends or with relationships, when you start to get that nagging little feeling, the spirit is talking to you. That's your guide saying, pay attention. Hello, right here. You know, they're not going to be standing there with a big sign flagging for you. I wish, but that's not always how it works. Mm-hmm. So, we're going to do another spread. There's a little bit more lying under the surface. I will tell you, I can feel how guarded you are. I'm not going to hurt you. Okay? I promise.
Oh, well, I do trust you. I mean, you know.
You wouldn't be here if you didn't.
Exactly.
But I also
I don't
know.
mess around.
I also know part of it is this world you're unfamiliar with.
Definitely. It's
So,
new territory.
I will protect your privacy at all costs. And certain situations that I bring up just in this spread, you know what I'm talking about as I bring it up. So, and that's the whole important part. Everybody over here, when they watch, what they're watching is to see how we interact. They're seeing how the cards are read. Because a lot of people are like where you are. You're starting to get curious and wanting to know more about the cards and more about how to read and stuff like that. And that's why a lot of people watch. Is most people, when they get their cards read, a lot of them need kind of a direction, and they need validation or permission. So, and a lot of it is energy. You are very empathic. If you didn't feel comfortable, you wouldn't have sat here throughout the reading. You'd have cut it short and come up with a reason to leave. So, okay. The overall energy is the Emperor upright, for those of you who would like to see the card. And I told you, when I flip cards, it's always this way. So when I flip this way. Interesting. Okay. You very much look for an authority figure. And you're trying hard to be that authority figure in your own life.
Really? I guess I am.
There's a struggle for balance, but looking okay. The Emperor is usually, you hear the kids next door and dogs. The Emperor is usually an authority figure, whether it be a boss or father or husband if you're a subservient type of person. And to a certain degree, with the Emperor being the overall energy, an authority figure does what? They give you direction, they give you guidance. When you feel like you're lacking that direction and that guidance, then you try and take that kind of position in your own life. Because if nobody's giving you that direction, then you
have to do that.
Does that make sense? So, this is kind of a new position for you. Looking at everything else, and we'll read the other cards in a minute, but just from the energy from you and the cards, it's almost like you haven't felt in control for a really long time. And you're just now starting to regain your voice and your confidence and that, I call it your power. Because it's like, it was gone for so long, and now I need it back. And you're taking it back. Looking at the cards, I'm going to tell you right now, you can't run from your problems. It's exactly what you want to do. You want to run. You want, okay, so we've got, for those of you who can't see the spread, we've got the Eight of Wands right next to the Chariot.
O.J. Simpson freaking Chevy? Wow.
It's actually probably a station wagon or like some sort of sedan. And then we've got the Five of Pentacles. So that tells me very clearly you have got some stuff that you want to run from.
I can see that.
Some of it, in fact, most of it is of a financial nature. There's a whole little box, so to speak, that you have kind of set aside, and you, if you could turn tail, duck, cover, and run, you would, but you know you've got to stand up and face it. Looking at this, and next, looking at furthermore.
What about this Pentacles? What is that? Or is that, we haven't got to that.
That's kind of also financial. So when you're looking at Pentacles, Pentacles are often referred to in other decks as coins, which is usually financial, money.
I love that it's two girls and a boy. That's what I have, you know. My kids.
It's interesting that you see that. In this spread, this is usually a maiden, mother, and crown, or a grandmother. So you have a young girl, a mother, and the older lady. But that's interesting that you see it as two girls and a boy.
Oh yeah, that does look like a grandmother now that you mention it.
But that's your perspective that you're bringing to it. Which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Just thinking like a mom, you know?
So, but what they're doing, for those who tend to follow a Wiccan type of path or a natural path, is they're raising your cone of power. And I'll walk you through what that means later.
Wow, it looks really powerful.
But they're uniting
Generations.
yes, they're uniting the energy of generations. They're uniting history and ancestry, if you're going by a native perspective, and they are calling upon all of it and joining their energy and joining their power together to raise it together as one. Okay?
Wow.
So,
Love it.
this, don't run. You're absolutely in a good position. Okay?
It's so funny because that was like my first question. Do I stay and fight through this, or should I just cut my losses, take Meadow, and fail, you know, to a different city and start over? And it's
No,
been heavy on my mind. Like, I've been right there. And
Really?
so it's so funny that this came right out the gate.
Once you started to relax, yeah, as the cards can tell a lot. And I pick up more from you in general. But that's interesting because, okay. So, the Initiative Wands. And on the other side, you have the Lovers reversed. So, I'm going to hold that up for the people. Okay, and this is a position that they're in. So this would be the situation that you were in before. And this would be you walking away from that situation. Okay, but in the middle of it, you have somebody else who you aren't seeing. So, I'm going to tell you, you probably...
Jeez, Tina, call me out publicly.
Hey, you know what? You signed up for it. So, I'm...
I don't even know who this person is, first of all, so...
For the record, but I'm going to tell you, it's one of your male friends that you friend-zoned.
Really? Somebody I already know?
I think so. I don't think you know them quite well. Because I don't have that feeling looking at everything. But I think it's somebody who you have met in passing. You have kind of just straight out the gate and, okay, no, you go over here with the friends. Whether it's because you were involved with somebody else or you just weren't feeling it or they aren't your usual type or whatever. This isn't somebody who you would usually pay attention to. This is somebody who if you... And I'll pull a separate reading for this one, but if it's going the way I think it's going, is somebody who is completely against your type. And because they're against your type,
I've heard that before. Like,
you completely just don't even pay them any attention. So, this is what's actually kind of funny, because I've said this in other readings, is the fact that the person who is against your type, who you don't pay attention to, is probably the person you're going to end up with. And for those of my viewers who have actually heard that from me, they're probably nodding going, yep, I've heard that before, because it's the truth. And I'll tell you the story about how my husband and I got together later, because he was completely against my type. But I've seen it more often than not. Is those who you aren't, you usually friend zone or who are against your type or whatever, you end up being with and you mesh so well. And you don't even see it at first. So.
Yikes. I mean, it's exciting to hear
You're
that,
not there
but
yet. You're not ready for it yet. Because you're almost there. 9 of Chalices, but you're not there yet. So, remember I told you earlier when we were talking, and you said you've been kind of trying to fill everybody else's cup from an empty cup, and you don't know how to fill your own cup?
I've been working really hard to fill my own cup.
So, the stuff that works for you. Okay, and it's not the same for everybody. It really isn't. But what is it that fulfills you? Is it curling up with a cup of hot chocolate or tea and reading a good book? Is it binge watching your favorite show on Netflix? Is it taking a drive and getting back to nature and going and spending some time near some water or up in the mountains? Is it what fulfills you? And there's more than one thing. But focus on you and what fulfills you. What makes your soul feel good. Because there's nothing wrong with taking some you time. There's nothing wrong with kicking back in a bathtub with, a bunch of bubbles and a glass of wine and some good tunes and just zoning. If cooking is your thing, then go and bake up a storm and, feed all your friends and family. Whatever your deal is. You dance, go dance. Turn up the tunes and just jam out. Whatever your thing is. And you're processing it as I'm telling you this. I can see it. But the more you do that, the more you focus on you and you focus on your kids and you focus on things that have nothing to do with a relationship, the more you're filling your own cup, but you're also raising your vibrational level because you're growing as a person, you're evolving as a person. And when you do that, then you're no longer attracting guys like this because you're no longer on the same frequency as them. You're going to start bringing in people who are on a higher vibrational level. They're more meshing with where you are. It's kind of like when we very first started talking. Okay? We're close enough that we're now starting to interact, but the more our frequencies started to change and people come and people go and we evolve as people, we finally connected, and it's been over a year since we first reached out to each other.
It's crazy. Wow.
But if you think about it, that's kind of how it works. Our relationships ebb and flow, and that's okay. Not everybody is going to be in your life 100% all of the time. It just doesn't work that way. They evolve, and they grow, and they become people, and that's why a lot of divorces happen, is because people don't necessarily allow themselves or their spouses to grow and evolve and whatnot. They try to keep them in this neat little package with where they've always known them to be. Instead of saying, I love you, but I love you enough to walk next to you and not view you as property. I love you enough to want to watch you grow and evolve and become this person who is going to be beautiful. But I want you to love me enough to let me do the same thing. So, you're close. You're getting there. So, remember before when we talked about cutting ties? 10 of Swords. And that's exactly what you're doing. You are quite literally cutting ties, and it's like, okay, we're done. Because you can't fix something that's broken like that. And a lot of those things, a lot of those ties, you quite literally decided, I'm done. I don't need you anymore. See you later, bye. And it's clear. I mean, it's very clear in the cards. So, this is the Eight of Pentacles reversed. And this actually goes with this up here. I will tell you that this will change a lot of the ties that you cut were work related.
Yeah. Wait, what? You're saying that this means that a lot of the ties that I am cutting will work?
No, that's the energy that I'm getting from the cards and from you. Is that a lot of the ties that you cut were, you kind of walked away from a lot of relationships, hence the chalices, but you also walked away from, like, you kind of, and you know it, you know that you burned some bridges when you walked away. I really actually feel that we're going to end up doing a work-related spread for you, as well as a relationship spread. Which do you want first?
The work-related has been plaguing me.
Okay, so that's what I want you to focus on.
Taken precedence. Oh, I feel like I cannot move forward until I resolve this. I feel so stuck. No matter what energy I'm doing, no matter what work I'm doing, I feel like that is this black cloud hanging over my head. And so yeah, it's
You kind of had a tower moment,
definitely like a twin tower moment for sure.
which I think actually came up in the spread that we sent to you and that was privately done, is that there was some tower moments that
Major
were approaching.
tower moment.
And that's kind of exactly what tower moments are, is they shake things up, they rip them up, turn them upside down, inside out, and then say, here, now deal with it. And tower moments can really suck.
Yeah, it does.
However, it's an opportunity for learning and growth.
Definitely. It's almost like being in love. Everything seems more vivid. I'm really watching for signs. I still live in the moment, but it's like, it is definitely wakes you up, you know, to the little things and just being grateful for the little things that I have, the people that love me, my family, my friends that I still have that have been just really awesome through it all. It's been very bittersweet. Makes me very, very grateful and humbled. So, but it still sucks. Still hurts like hell. Very, very painful.
New beginnings. Okay. So the overall energy is the Ace of Wands. You had a lot of emotions tied up with your work. Okay. So the networking we were discussing before, starting to send out feelers. Absolutely. Okay. This is the Eight of Pentacles upright.
Does that mean like get on it?
I would absolutely start sending out your feelers now. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to move forward and really put a lot of pressure on it and whatnot. You're a little more stressed about finances than you like to let on. And there was...
Is she in the grocery store?
Yeah. Four of Pentacles upright. Followed by the Nine of Chalices reversed, which tells me that you had some friendships that you kind of counted on. They made life worth, not necessarily worth living, but they made it easier to be there, to go to work. You were buddies, kind of close, maybe went out, had drinks,
Besties,
whatever.
for sure.
And so the loss of that, some of those really hurt.
It's devastating.
I would absolutely send out fillers. Part of that is because, yes, she's kind of stressed about finances. She's kind of, worried about groceries. How am I going to provide for my family, my kids, and whatnot? But also because you have the Five of Pentacles reversed over here that says that things are changing. It's just going to be kind of a slow-moving process. You've got the Initiate of Wands, which is, in this case, not a relationship, but it's more energy being put forth into a new cycle. And you need to start putting that energy forth on a work level. The Initiate of Pentacles reverse tells me that, and if you look at her, and I'll turn it right side up, very much like traditional kind of dress and whatnot, which is what tells me that that is related to you on a work level. And I would say that further goes into this one. There were more friendships than I think you cared to lose. There were people who you thought that you could trust that would follow you through that didn't. People that you thought would walk with you that chose to stay. And that's part of the betrayal and stuff that we were talking about earlier. That makes it, I think you're going to be okay. There are new beginnings, but it doesn't make it any easier to deal with. Looking at this, the elemental of wands is a fire sign. It's what does fire do? It destroys, but there can't be new beginnings without all of the old muck being gotten rid of. So think about it like with a forest fire, okay? You have a bunch of old dead wood and it gets burnt and taken out of the equation. But there are plants and trees out there, like some types of pine, that can't begin a new life until they have the heat from that fire to kind of burst open that seed, okay? So that's exactly where you're at, is you do have a whole new cycle, and you kind of chose which crossroads you were going to take when you made the decisions that you made. Because you were sitting right at the beginning of that crossroad, and you'd been treading water there for a while. And you finally took that leap. You said, okay, no, enough is enough, I'm done. And so you took that path, and you chose to take the road less traveled, which actually for you was a really brilliant move. However, it doesn't make it any less painful, but it's also going to be a slow process because you have other things you need to see through. This, which is the Ten of Wands reversed, and as most people have figured out by now, I don't have the book meanings memorized, so you can look these up, but it's not going to tell you what I'm telling you, which is okay. This tells me that next time you're going to be a little more guarded.
Absolutely.
When you go into a new work environment, you're not going to be there to make friends. You're not going to be there to, yeah, I want to be a part of a team and be all gung-ho. You'll be, yeah, I'll be a part of that team, but to a point.
Yeah, there's a line there.
I'm here to work, do my job, go home. I'm not here to work and make a whole bunch of new friends. However, don't be surprised if you meet the next person that you're going to end up with through work.
Oh, God. I don't date people I work with.
And no, that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't meet the next person you're going to end up dating or being with through work. Are you following what I'm saying? You don't have to date somebody you work with.
That's true.
But that doesn't mean that you won't come in contact with them
right,
through a work level. It doesn't mean that you won't come across them and say, okay, yeah, we met before, right? And then start interacting a little bit more. Because for the lovers, to show up upright at the very end of a spread that's focused on work and finances, which is also related to work, tells me that the person that you'll end up with, or that you have, I can't say absolutely you'll end up with them, but you have a very strong likelihood of ending up with them, you'll end up coming across them somehow related through work.
well, that's exciting.
It's not to say you're going to marry the next person you work with or your boss, but that is to say that somehow, in some way, they'll come across your path. I can tell you that the unit as a whole that you worked for, I don't see you ever being employed by them again. Don't look there for future employment.
And what makes you say that?
Because it's not in the cards. You've had too many people who have turned their backs on you. Too many people who wouldn't be there for you. I'm not, this is fresh start. This is new energy. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. So, while that's scary and terrifying, and I understand that, overall, you'll be okay. But don't look for new employment with the same.
Yeah, no. Honestly, you didn't. I mean, I just wanted to see why you were saying that, but absolutely not. I would not go back after what I've been through.
Which is good. And I don't even
would-
know the details of all of that. And if you want to tell me later off camera, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
I don't even have to tell you. It's like you spot on. The damage is irreparable, and that's not from them. That's from me.
so
Those bonds were definitely
I'm getting
broken.
goosebumps. So, do you want me to do a relationship spread for you? Or are you okay at the moment?
Well, there has been
Uh-huh.
a relationship that's kind of plagued me, kept me up a little bit. I've been wondering if I should try to work through it with him, you know.
This
He's
isn't the one you were telling me about
in the
before,
back
is it?
of my mind a little bit.
Is this the one you were telling me about before that you just walked away from? Or is this somebody I don't know about?
This is the one that I've told you has been the one I walked away from.
Okay. So you
But,
want to know if you should go there or if you should hold out for somebody new?
Well, I've already cut the ties, so I just it keeps telling me that maybe I should, you know, I thought maybe he could change or maybe he could go through something that would make him realize that I'm like the most amazing woman ever, you know, something like that, some sort of. But I've met a couple of people, and I've had an ex from the past that the bond is there, that I friend zoned, that just good vibes.
That explains why your face brightened when I brought up somebody who you friend zoned previously. Okay.
So I don't really know which direction to go in, but I know something's coming. I can feel it. My intuition tells me that love is in the air, and it's you know, unnerving. I'm excited, but I'm like dreading it, avoiding people, pushing people away. I have guys that ask me out on dates, and I just totally push them away, blow them off, because of my current situation. I feel like it's...
Go ahead and put them in the bed for not pertinent to your reading.
Yeah, so I've been really confused about the love thing. I should...
Okay, if you loosen your death grip, they'll shuffle easier.
I don't know.
The more stressed out you get, the more anxiety you feel, the more you death grip those cards.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't help that this is kind of a webbed table. So trying to pick them up is kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah, they kind of slide around a little bit.
Jeez, woman.
I can.
Your overall energy, and this is why I'm laughing, is the Nine of Swords, which you just got done describing anxiety and sleepless nights. That's exactly what that card is representative of.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you have a lot of anxiety.
Why is that funny, Tina? Jeez.
Because the cards are basically saying what you just got done telling me. That's why I'm laughing.
Look at all those freaking swords, too.
But
Jeez
what's she
Louise.
doing? She's sitting up at night,
Stressing.
stressed out, anxiety.
For bastards that don't give a damn about me. They're probably not even up at night worrying about it.
Actually, men stress a lot more than you give them credit for.
Really?
Yep.
Some of these are kind of scary looking.
Because of the cards or because they're reversed?
Both. And a lot of them are the same ones. They just keep coming back.
You put them in there.
The same damn cards in every aspect of my life. What the heck? It's like the same reading, almost.
In a lot of ways with different positions on the cards.
Is that normal?
Actually, I see it a lot because you're in the middle of a cycle. And you have the option of choosing to repeat it or not. And you weren't kidding when you said you're struggling. This right here, Elemental of Wands. It's a fire sign. It's also new. You have an older female. Not your mom. You have an older female that you turn to for advice. You've run away to her before. You want to again. A lot. Because you're second guessing yourself. Because you're not listening to your gut. In the one situation, you really need to listen to your gut in. So you already know.
So-and-so? One that we already talked about.
You already know what you need to do.
Yeah, I've already done it.
But you are struggling with walking away. So much so that, I mean, you really are second guessing yourself. You're not trusting your intuition. And you are pushing everybody away. So the guy, the other one, you need to get over the one in the past first before you go on to the other one. Because this right here, the Hermit upright, tells me you're not over it. As does every one of the other surrounding cards.
Whoa, what? Yeah. I mean, I'm a part of it still, you know?
So, those tell me right there. This says, she's telling you, she's giving you that validation you need.
Run for your life? What? What did she think?
So, you've already had that conversation.
Yeah, that's what brought me here, I feel like. I've already had my divine tower moment with all of that.
So, you walked away, and everything says, yes, you walked away. And you used your head over your heart. And it's your heart that you're having problems convincing.
It's broken, for sure.
So let me ask you this. What is it in you that has you so convinced that you're worth being treated the way he was treating you?
Well, it wasn't, that's what made me walk away. It was the connection, the playfulness, the fun. It like brought out the child in me. I think it came right and caught me at a vulnerable time when I had my tower moment. And I think it took my attention off what I was going through, and I kind of just focused that right on him, just being a giver.
And you could rescue him because he's rescuing you.
Right.
And you're going to glom onto him and you're going to hug him and hold him close.
You know, this is fate. And
let me pet him and cuddle him close and call him George because he's mine. And I don't have to deal with all of this because I've got this right here.
Pretty much.
You know I love you, right?
Oh my God.
But the other one from the new cycle, the one that you kind of friend zoned, he's a little bit younger than you, isn't he? That's where you need to put your attention. Because the one that I talked about before, when I said you kind of friend zoned him, you kind of have crossed paths and whatnot, was a little bit younger than you.
He is. He's a cop. So that's scary, you know, just night and day. I feel like we're so opposite.
Oh, that explains the Emperor.
Yeah, when you were like authoritarian figure, you're looking for that, and I'm like, oh, great, it must be him. Like,
I'm not usually wrong. And you are looking for it.
it was definitely like a chance meeting, but
You're comfortable with him. And in ways that scare the shit out of you. Because you're afraid of what could be. Is it worth putting that kind of time and energy into somebody who's younger than you? Who maybe you'll find somebody younger. Who may find somebody who you feel is prettier, or whatever you want to throw in there.
yeah.
And then there's that part of you that wonders, what is it about me? What's so great about me that he keeps coming back? That he's... You're not ready for him yet. You're getting there. But you know what? He sees that amazing, beautiful soul of yours. And that's what he's going after. It's more than just the looks. It's more than just everything else, because he sees all of the flaws and imperfections, but he loves you for him anyways. Those things that others may find annoying are what he finds endearing. I'm clearing the deck for you.
But it didn't. You didn't get anything about my ex that I was with for 5 years. That we're still good friends. That there's kind of a let-up there. You didn't get anything. Nothing.
That's almost... We'll ask about it if you like, but that's almost completely platonic. There's nothing that is like that fiery passion, and I don't feel any of that. The two that are coming through, and we'll pull your ex if you like, but that one situation that you just walked away from is, you really need to get over that one, and you will. But
You don't think there's any way to turn it around?
He's not going to fix those issues because he doesn't see those issues as being an issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
One more. I'm actually trying to pick that card up. You really like your comfort zone, don't you?
Yes. I love my coffee and my Dateline and my bubble baths. It's been a long time. I've kind of deprived myself of that stuff. Lately, the last month or so, I've kind of quit the self-care as much. But I do love my coffee and my...
So I'm going to tell you right now, and a lot of these are the same cards as before. Keep in mind there's 78 cards in this deck, but that right there, pause. This is just pulling your ex. This is all comfort zone. This is familiar. This is what you know. And this is telling you to give pause.
What do you mean give pause?
You're wondering about your ex, and is
I'm like making a move.
and
Like chill on it, don't do anything drastic.
it's your comfort zone. Nothing new. Look, none of these cards, and I shuffled these cards for a few minutes. None of those cards are new cards. They are all cards that were pulled in previous spreads to you. Which tells me, barring this
I
card.
don't remember seeing this dude.
Yep, that one was in your last reading.
Oh, you're right.
So, barring those two, everything else we've had before. Which tells me you like your comfort zone. You like the familiarity of what you know to expect. Whether it be with your most recent ex or your more, a little bit further back ex, the one that you were just asking about, you like your comfort. So the one that is a little bit younger than you is not your familiar zone. I'll tell you that right now. Because that's not who you were just asking me about. So, the one you were just asking me about, clearly, take pause. Is maybe financially stable, or at least more so than what you are now. I wouldn't go there. There's nothing in that spread that said go there.
Really?
Everything in that spread is every other card that we have pulled before. Maybe not everyone, but we've seen them all through the course of this evening.
Oh, shit. Damn it. So it's not him either.
No, the younger one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, so no, there's another ex that...
I've got a couple of friends that have potential. I mean, you know.
But this one that I just pulled the spread on was not younger than you. So whoever your ex was that is right around our age,
yeah,
maybe a little bit older,
yeah,
but right in, yeah, no, don't go there. That's your familiarity, that's your safe zone, that's your midnight booty call because you know what to expect, repetition, okay? So, that kind of answers that question because you perked right up. So... I can tell when I've answered what you want to know. Let's focus on the other guy, the one that's younger than you, shall we?
I've got an older one and a younger one that have potential, that are great. There's chemistry.
Okay, so do we want to focus on the older one or the younger one? Tell me now. Who am I pulling? We'll pull the younger one.
Yeah. He wants to take a trip down this weekend. He lives in Salt Lake and take me to dinner. Went above and beyond to, you know, just check on me. Really sweet and endearing. And I'm shocked. He's like...
He wants you to go down there or he wants you...
He wants to drive here and take me to dinner.
Okay, so he's the one that's making the effort.
He's making, like, total gentleman, you know. We met at a concert. I was shocked that he would even choose me. He's young, vivacious, handsome. Like, I just was shocked that he would even look at me in that way, you know.
And I don't get the feeling he's looking for a trophy wife.
And that's what he said. He was like, you know, I'm not interested in games at a different point in my life. I like that you're more mature and you have your life together, and yeah, so he's different, you know, than
what you're used to.
Than what I'm used to, and what most men, you know, at his age want, you know. So it surprised me.
Well, we're done with that. Nope, that's absolutely correct. Some of these are similar, but they're coming out in a different spread. Okay. Interesting. So, you know the whole reason why you walked away?
Mm-hmm.
The whole fear factor that was involved with this guy? You know what I'm talking about? The whole he's younger than me, all of that stuff. There was some anxiety where that's concerned. Okay, first of all, that's clear. But I'm going to tell you right now, your walking away is also what you've missed it.
I mean,
on a soul level, you could definitely feel the absence. When you pulled back from this guy, there was that absence, and you could feel it.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's this. That's why the Ten of Chalices was reversed. I'll hold it up closer so you guys can see. Because you let your fear make your decisions for you. By doing that, you changed what could have been a very happy situation. You, however, are being given a second chance. And I would not wait with this one. You've got the Hanged Man. It was reversed right at the beginning of the spread, which is telling me now is your time to move forward with Now, that's not to say jump in with both feet, but I would definitely start, answer his calls, return his text messages a little bit more quickly, things of that nature. Take him up on the date. Now is your opportunity to move forward. Because you know how you feel kind of lost? You don't know who's got your back? I'm telling you right now, that Two of Swords that appeared before is in the reverse. Right on the same line with New Beginnings, which is your Ace of Wands, and your Hangman reversed. Which tells me this guy isn't necessarily one that you're going to have to wonder about. Because he does have your back. He will be behind you. He will be supportive of you. That's what the cards are saying. I don't feel like he is one that is secretive. He very much strikes me as being one that's very forthcoming. He's going to tell you what he's thinking and whatnot. You don't have to
Wonder.
Yeah. It's like, if you're wondering how he feels, I mean, all men to a certain degree are like an enigma, but you kind of always wonder where women. By the same token, he's that guy who he will show you. He'll find a way. Like making the 3.5 hour drive from there to here is making that effort to show you that he feels that you're worth it.
Yeah.
And it'll be little
That
things like that.
is
It'll be little things like that, though, that little things come up to big ones. So it's that one where, like, for an example, if he knows that you've been having a bad day or a rough day or whatever, he'll text you. How you doing? What's going on? He'll reach out to you. Even if he knows he's cutting himself short on sleep because you need somebody to talk to. This is also what tells me that you won't have to wonder where he's coming from, how he's feeling, where he's standing. All of those. Being in a reversed position is not necessarily a bad thing. We've got the Magician reversed, Five of Chalices reversed, Elder of Swords reversed. This tells me he's younger. These two tell me that there aren't secrets. Sorry, I'll move my hand so you can see. They tell me that... Is he a fire sign?
he's a Scorpio.
Okay, so he's a water sign, but I will bet there's fire somewhere in his chart. Mm-hmm. Probably a lunar or a rising. Because he's got a lot of fire energy. Scorpio is a water sign. He'd be willing to move jobs if that's what he thought you wanted. You know that, right?
Really?
So if it meant transferring from one department to another, if things progress the way that I feel that they can, don't let that scare you. That's making an effort for you. The other side, the reverse side to that, is that if you needed a place to escape to, you would be there. I'm going to tell you that being in the position that he's in, as far as like working for the police and whatnot, that's not a really lucrative job. So, you know, if you're wanting somebody who's very lucrative and has a lot of money and whatnot, this guy is not that guy. That's not to say that he doesn't, through, you know, couldn't get raises and stuff like that. It's just, there's a difference between marrying a beat cop and marrying an attorney.
That's true.
So, on the financial level, though, I'll tell you that I also very much feel that if you allow things to progress with him, you will feel the distance. It won't take very long before there's a lot of trips being made back and forth. And you find, not just you, but the both of you find that you're wanting to close that distance gap. Don't think that that necessarily means that you immediately have to move in together, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he couldn't move up here or you move down there or whatever. You've got some stuff you've got to take care of first here before you'll even be ready to make that leap. Before you know that you're moving for new beginnings instead of to run. However, you have somebody else you want to look at. And the Lovers did not pull with this spread.
Is that a bad sign?
No. It's not.
I haven't seen the Lovers at all. It's
Actually,
been dry.
No, the Lovers showed up at the end of the work spread.
Oh, that's why that's right. That you thought that I could possibly meet somebody
Through work. You have options. So, the older gentleman, let's focus there, shall we? I don't even know how late it's getting, but it's getting dark, so the lights on the fountain came on.
Yeah.
And we are over an hour into this.
Wow, thank you so much. You're so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I really, really appreciate you doing this for me. It's been fun. It's got my mind off things for a while, and it's been plaguing me, so it's nice to have a break from the stress.
Well, and it's nice to kind of get a little bit of guidance.
Yeah.
And not feel like you're fighting that fight alone.
Absolutely.
See my arm jerk? Because I expected it to jump. So, maybe. There we go. Interesting. Okay. So the overall energy is the Eight of Wands reversed. We really need like another light. It's okay. She's popped up in the same position twice. The Elder of Pentacles. This is new. Okay. That's a work card. That one showed up in the same position twice. The older person, you've been there before, haven't you? No?
Like, I've been around him, but I've never dated him or been with him or anything. Unless there's somebody else that I can't, yeah. What makes you say that?
Some of the familiar cards, the Elder of Swords reversed, but that's okay. Looking. I would say you definitely have been very introspective lately, haven't you?
What does that mean? Exactly.
Withdrawing, focusing on fixing things perceived, or whether or not they're actually there, but you've just kind of been very, instead of outwardly focused, you're inwardly focused.
Yeah.
Put it easier.
Absolutely.
Which I understand is a self-defense mechanism.
And I feel like it's kind of been a healing thing, you know, that I'm just trying to take my time and...
Hence a self-defense mechanism. It is healing, very much for you.
It's almost like recovery. It's been exhausting, so...
I see that. This is introspection. This is you focused on laser focus. But you've... Okay, so the Ace of Chalices is usually new beginnings on an emotional level. It's reversed. This is new beginnings here. Okay, it's moving forward. This is the Ace of Wands upright. You've got the Empress reversed, which is a family card. Which tells me I don't feel like this. I think you could be happy for a little while, but I don't feel like this would be a very happy relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the cards, and just to kind of run through them, we have the Eight of Wands reversed, we have the Two of Pentacles upright, we have the Elder of Pentacles upright, which is kind of like a higher court card, not a major arcana, but a higher court card. You have the Four of Chalices or Cups upright, you have the Elder of Swords reversed, the Ace of Wands upright.
What is this one?
That's the Six of Pentacles. That's actually things on a positive work level. Money's starting to come back in. You have the Empress reversed, which is a major arcana, and you have the Ten of Wands reversed, and you have the Ace of Cups reversed, or the Ace of Chalices reversed. So this is also somebody who is in, they're an older person, okay? They are somebody who is, I mean, if you look at her, that very much comes across like a job interview. And I'm looking at the spread, and I'm not seeing anything that, besides the Ace of Wands, that shows forward movement. You've got advice right here. So you've got somebody...
A solid friend, maybe.
But yeah, I'm not seeing anything that shows forward movement. And if you're going to go for any kind of a relationship beyond a friendship, you want something that would show growth or romance or even being comfortable and, you know, being content with that person. And there is nothing in that spread that shows contentment or growth or even movement.
Yeah.
So I would tell you, as far as whoever the older person is, I would not look there for a romantic relationship. Not to say you can't have a great friendship and a camaraderie with them and a good rapport with them, but I don't see anything that says romance. And the one card that would be even showing new romance would be your Ace of Cups. But it's not upright. It's pointing out. It's upside down.
Yikes. Okay, good to know.
So, yeah, I would not put a whole lot of my energy that direction.
Okay.
So, if you, let me put it to you this way. If you want to try heading down a relationship path now to within the next year or so, go with the younger individual. However, I still feel like even he would wait for a little while and kind of let you take things slow. if you want to see if there's still a new person coming in. Once you get through healing and working on you and the work stuff. Because I still feel that there's somebody new who you've crossed paths with before that isn't...
Friend zone inside, I think?
I think possibly, but I don't think they're part of the current people you're thinking of. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the person that the lovers was indicating, that's very much, at the end of that spread, it was very much new love. But it's still a ways out. You still had a whole lot of other stuff to go through first. So you got some choices. And right now, I feel like just with all of the cards and everything, first of all, you're giving off an energy like you're kind of done. But we can do more at another time if you'd like. But I very much feel like you kind of have everything you can do to keep your head above water where you're at now. And so while things may feel stagnant, you have some healing to do on the individual that you kind of pushed everybody away to heal from. You're not there yet.
Well, I loved what you said about, just living in the moment, doing what makes me happy. I've even pushed those things away. It's like I'm starving myself of happiness. Like I'm stuck in this pain cycle, and I'm ready to be happy again. And even if I don't know what's going to happen with my job or relationship, that's not what it's about. It's about trying to live in the moment, and trying to get out there and just enjoy myself a little bit. Like I've done enough suffering. It's
time to get you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's time to reclaim the you that you know is there. The one that you've let go for a while. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with reclaiming your own power and with reclaiming the person that you let slide for so long. In fact, I think it's about time you got her back.
Yeah.
Because you kind of turned your back on her for a while.
Totally. Men are such distractions.
It can be, but I feel that they probably feel the same way about us. So I guess that's fair. On the other hand, remember what I told you earlier. The best thing you can do for you is when you're ready to get yourself out of that mindset of the revolving door of what you've been doing. Take a step back, clear your head, and ask yourself, what do I need to learn? Write it down if you need to.
That's a good exercise. I'll do that.
Because when you do that, you give yourself the opportunity to acknowledge the lessons that are right in front of you and move past that cycle and move on to other things. So, you'll be okay. I don't see anything that says you're not going to be okay. I don't see anything that says, oh, hey, look, you've got an upcoming tower moment coming, or, your world's about to get shifted again. Right now, you're at a place where you're kind of, while you're treading water, it's a good place for you to be because it gives you the opportunity to catch your breath and kind of regroup to move forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
Very true.
Alrighty, my dear.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up because it's getting dark. You're probably having a hard time making out our faces. So thank you, Felice, for joining me on camera.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for sitting with us for this long. I'm going to let this go for now, and we will talk to you all soon. Love and light to you. I got to reach forward to shut this off.